的才能公布才能够真正知晓，因为那个是确定了我们2021年到2025年之间的具体发展目标但是呢，我想从目前来看的话，以下这几点是不会有变化的。首先就是坚持低碳发展，实现减排的目标我们会坚定不移的去按照我们定好的方法承诺去完成我们的一些节能减排。同时呢，继续加大对节能减排和可再生能源等方面的研发的投入就是国家要加大研发投入。第三呢，就是要加大新技术在交通运输领域里的应用和示范第四呢，就是我们要把交通领域的低碳发展从国家目标要一直落实到每个参与主体的自觉行动这是一个总的这个方面吧。同时呢，从这个在研发方面吧，我想说一下研发，据我们所了解，因为这些计划都在制定中间嘛，国家已经就“十四五”期间研发的在交通领域的研发已经开始征求意见了已经开始做了我想呢，这基本主要集中在这几个方面，尽管现在还没完全确定，但是可以看到基本就是这几个方面。首先第一个就是要加强基础设施的智能化第二呢，就是在运载工具的智能协同方面，就是各个运载工具之间的协调，你比如说车和车之间的智能协调运输还有就是交通运输的监管再就是大型交通运输枢纽的协同运行因为下一步国家的因为中国的大型城市和特大型城市很多人口还在逐渐发展，交通运输所形成的枢纽的作用很大，但历史上由于各种交通工具不同，历史上所建的各种设施分散，耗能大，也不高效，所以下一步作为国家来讲，可能更多的要建一些综合的交通枢纽。所以这个综合交通枢纽中间不同交通方式如何协同、如何管理，也是一个大的方向需要解决的问题再就是多方式的综合运输一体化，就是我们刚才讲的交通实施的那一套多方式的综合交通运输。再就是综合交通运输的服务创新性的服务，还有安全风险。因为你越是集中，越是处理的话，可能风险也就所带来的损害也越大这是从研发的角度来讲。从公路交通部已经批准了在8个省市开展智慧公路的试点这就是图中所列的。
Sorry. Mr. Lee, this is a very extremely interesting presentation, but we are limited in time. Do you think you could wrap this up in 1 minute or something like that, please?
好的，我再快把这几章我说一下就完了。就是国家已经开始在8个城市进行交通试点，智慧公路基本上实现3网合一、多网融合就是交通网、运输网、能源网统一。同时呢，云覆盖全光纤而且车路无线交通无线通信。在服务方面，自由流收费应急系统以及自动驾驶、货车编队，这都是下一步智慧公路所要实现的目标。同时呢，在车牌识别、可变信息等等配送服务等等方面，都要在全国的高速公路上实践。自动驾驶和产业发展基本上可以理解是这么几个方面，一个就是无人驾驶的出租车将会成为我们的行业服务的竞争热点。同时呢，车路协同将会成为我国发展自动驾驶的主要技术路线。再就是信息安全是所谓的计算。所以我个人的看法呢，跟大家分享一下，就是从交通耗能的占比来看，可能节能减排可能措施只能有所改进，解决不了关键的问题。关键的问题需要通过减少燃油车辆、发展清洁能源工具交通工具才能够实现所以说我们还寄希望于氢能和太阳能的开发。就是最后呢，就是可以预计在5年内，我们中国在中国国内自主驾驶将会 在微型小巴、这个无人驾驶出租车和高速公路的货运、矿区运输、城市物流等方面做出巨大的贡献，有非常大的发展。好了，谢谢，我今天这个介绍就到这儿，谢谢大家。
Thank you very much, Mr. Lee. It was a very interesting presentation, and I hope we can share the pictures with the audience after this webinar today.
时间超了，老师。
Our next keynote speaker today is State Secretary Nilsson. State Secretary Nilsson is politically appointed senior official at the government offices in Sweden. As State Secretary, he leads the work in the ministry directly under the head of the Ministry for Foreign Trade and Nordic Affairs, Ms. Anna Hallberg. Mr. Nilsson was previously State Secretary of the Environment between 2002 to 2006, and also political advisor in the Ministry of Environment between 1998 and 2002. Please, State Secretary Nilsson, the word is yours.
So, do you now hear me?
We hear you.
You hear me? Very good. Yes. It's always this a little bit tension when you with this digital format starts a meeting. But thank you so much, and I'm happy that everything works, and I'm happy to be here with you this morning. First of all, extend my thanks to the Embassy of China and EVL, the Swedish Environment Research Institute, for arranging today's important webinar. Thank you so much. And also my greetings to Mr. Shoshan Lee. It was very nice to listen to your presentation, very extensive presentation showing all the parts and aspects of the transformation of the transport system. Also showing the possibilities and the ongoing basis for cooperation. So thank you so much for that presentation. And also, as Sergeant Lee mentioned, maybe start with noting what guides us as governments, which is the topic here today, is of course our goals and ambitions on the climate political area. And that is very much also the part of the theme for the sustainable mobility and green transport. And of course, as Sergeant Lee mentioned, and as we noted, that the United Nations General Assembly President Xi announced China's intention to become carbon neutral by 2060, and we welcome this step, which, together with China's earlier commitment under the Paris Agreement to peak its emissions by 2030, sets a clear direction. We look forward to explore how Sweden, the EU, and China can support each other on climate action. We would also look forward to working jointly with China to showcase results and ambitions with the commitments at COP26 next year in Glasgow. And based on the presentation we just heard, I think there will be lots of actions in the area of transportation that we could highlight. Because infrastructure and transportation systems constitutes, and especially working with trade, a very fundamental part of our societies, naturally and globally. And with those also post-COVID. Welfare, education, value creation, and the leading of a normal life are all dependent upon us being able to move ourselves and goods efficiently and securely. But there will be new demands for sustainable transportation post-COVID, and I think that is why this seminar, this webinar is so timely. Because also, as was mentioned in the presentation, rapid population growth, urbanization, global mobility puts an enormous strain on transport systems all over the world. The transport sector is expected to grow and double its CO2 emissions by 2050 if no action is taken. A challenge that we as governments must address with concrete actions and strategies. Securing sustainable mobility and green transportations need to be at heart of us achieving 2030 agenda and the Paris Climate Agreement. In this light, we should seek to enhance our cooperation, and today's seminar is a very welcome way of doing that. The Swedish government is dedicated to do its share and has adopted a special bill with a strategy for achieving the 2030 goals. And we also have committed ourselves to be the first climate neutral welfare state by 2045, also having a particular legislation talking about and controlling and steering our climate ambitions, which is, of course, our responsibility as government to set the framework for all the ambitions and the innovation that has been. But also in our government budget for 2021, we can see how this is constituted in actions. It confirms the green trajectory of Sweden and includes a trust for investment promotion to Sweden, and not least in green business. In order to continue decouple economic growth and the CO2 emissions to the transport system is very essential. We must develop efficient public transport system which utilize electricity, fuel cells and biofuels. Electrification is a key word in our strategy that we are now working on. The Swedish government is taking measures on a wide scale, and we have heard this morning how governments can work with a wide range of actions to increase electrification in particular. Only last week, the Minister for Infrastructure presented new initiatives, including the advancement of electric roads that will be fulfilled in 2035. A commitment and the Commission for Electrification will be set up to gather actors from enterprise in the energy and transport sector to jointly find ways to accelerate the electrification. The Swedish government is working to support the development of new solutions throughout innovation and cooperation with companies and academia. And I think this is very important to have the broad perspective of cooperation and partnership. Swedish companies such as Scania, Volvo, Ericsson, Northvolt and others are leading the way. For example, with a strong heritage of vehicle manufacturing, Sweden has developed a good environment for automotive companies in areas of production, software development, battery development, safety systems, components, supply, testing, and R&D. So our ambitions as a government is very much also an ambition to support and enhance the achievements of our companies. I'm sure that closer cooperation between Sweden and China would further propel this technological development that we also heard from a Chinese perspective this morning, that is needed and that is ongoing. And we can define design projects that are truly fit for purpose and in partnership. So let me here also raise the issue of public procurement. Well-managed, sustainable public procurement is a powerful tool that we have been working with in order to set new standards and drive the so needed transformation. It forces sellers to prove the winning products or services is contributing to and minimizing its negative impact to the sustainable development goals, and it creates incentives to improve supply chains and production, as well as actual use of goods and services produced. So Sweden look forward to closer cooperate in this regard also. We need to global push for redirect global financial flows towards green investments in order to achieve the solutions and the goals that we all are committed to. The increased collaboration through innovation partnerships, policy coordination and joint participation in international initiatives are all concrete ways to strengthen cooperation between Sweden and China in the work to reduce global emissions. So before concluding, let me also highlight that our Minister for Foreign Trade and Nordic Affairs, Ms. Anna Hallberg, very much looks forward to digitally participate at the opening of the China International Expo on November 5th and discuss ways of further develop our trade and investment relations with relevant counterparts of the Chinese government. The important issue to sustainable mobility and other key areas, of course. And for example, we hope to see the increased Swedish export also in other areas that we have been discussing earlier. The relations between Sweden and China could also expand more in other product areas like agriculture and so forth, which we have discussed before, and that will be one of the topics also from our side. So, in order to conclude, securing sustainable mobility and green transportation must be at the front line of our joint efforts. We should do so in order to reach the Agenda 2030 goals, but also the Paris Climate Agreement. We need more experience sharing, we need more innovation partnership, we need more of joint standards, and we need more of close collaboration. So it's my hope that this day and your webinar that are arranged will also contribute to give us a better platform for developing our cooperation further on. So thank you so much for being invited to be a part of opening up this webinar today. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, State Secretary Nilsson, for your encouraging words. The rest of the program today is going to be as follows. We're going to be hearing about some individual company presentations until approximately 10:30. Then we're going to have a short break. After that, it's going to be some more presentations, followed up by a panel discussions with some of the companies that have been participating. The next presenter today is the company State Electrical Cars. Let's see here. Mr. Michael Rönnholm, Head of Innovation Department for State, please.
Thank you very much. I'm very honored to be given the opportunity to talk to you. CVT is, as you know, hopefully the R&D center of the EV Auto Group, China, Europe, vehicle technology. And we do research and innovation for vehicle technologies. Let me see if I can share my screen. Here it goes. Quickly, you see it? So, I have the opportunity to talk about sustainable future mobility. I will spend some time more about what we believe will happen in the future rather than what we have done in the past. And what we see now in terms of future mobility, we have a reshape of the competitive landscape in the transportation landscape. We call that future mobility. And in future mobility, the vehicle becomes more than just a transportation solution, and it will change how consumers will consume travels. We see that cars obviously becomes electrical, they become autonomous, they become connected, and they become shared. And as a consequence, the future vehicles will be more than just the transportation solutions. They will be health and well-being monitoring devices, they will be entertainment facilities, they will be power producers, and they will be energy storing devices. And in that sense, the vehicle of the future will become an integrated part of the sustainable cities and the sustainable society. And the vehicles becomes a part of the solution for climate change and not a climate problem.
Michael, sorry for interrupting you.